All right, good morning. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, and allow you guys to hop on a little bit. I'm actually gonna start on Facebook today. And I am going to start with interacting with the people that are viewing my stories. So I'm gonna set us a timer for 7 minutes. And this is kind of where I left off on Thursday. And what I do is I look at who's viewing my stories and then I go in and I see if they have a story. I see if they have a recent post that I can interact with. Spend some time loving on my people. No, that's too loud. Quiet. No, shut your door quietly. Sorry. So I'm actually over on Facebook right now, you guys, and I'm just doing some engagement with like my people that are viewing my stories, trying to keep my kids quiet, but I don't know if it's gonna work. If you were here Thursday, this is kind of where we left off, is loving on our people. I was kind of just saying on Thursday that whenever you think about like the people that are following you, like you have to have like be a friend to have a friend. And so you don't want the door to just swing one way. Um, you want to make sure that you're kind of looking to see, do they have stories that are recent? Do they have posts that you can engage with? Just love on your people a little bit. It's a little bit longer, I think, for me on Facebook, but also wanted to open this up to you guys this morning. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to drop them in the chat and I will see what I can do to answer them. If any of you guys work and you need like some tips on how to do this while also working, hi. I've built in the industry for 5 years while also working. I don't work a typical job where I can actually be on my phone. I'm a nurse. And so time is very limited for me to actually plug into my business. So this is why I'm up early in the morning. I try to get up before my kids. Is it ideal? In my mind, no, but for my business, yes. Because I just don't work the best at night. I need sleep. I'm over on the East Coast. But I will say if you do work, make sure that you're very aware of your employer's social media policy. Might want to print that out. Might want to read it. I will never like jeopardize what is my livelihood right now for what I'm building. And so for me, like I pay attention to the social media policy. I know it very well. I know what I can and cannot do as far as posting on social media, because I do like to share a lot about career burnout as a nurse. And I do not post on the clock. But that would just be a huge tip. Pay attention to your social media policy. And then if one of your non-negotiables, hopefully, is self-development each day. I will not do self-development when I wake up if I know that I am going to be plugging in on my drive to work. So I know, for example, today I will probably listen to a podcast. I've got a half hour to work and a half hour back. So that's an hour of self-development that I'll be able to get done because I don't do anything else when I'm driving. I don't like record. I don't talk on my stories. That's very dangerous. I just don't do that. But I will listen to a podcast. And so knowing in my mind that I've already got a good hour's worth of self-development that I'm planning on listening to later, I did not wake up this morning and dive straight into self-development. I just spent some time without my phone and kind of got some things done here around the house. Another thing that helps me is working. There goes our timer. Let's spend another, let's do 5 minutes on Facebook. And I'm just going to be like kind of in the stories section, just kind of watching people's stories and seeing if there's anything I can engage with on there. It is beneficial to work a day or two ahead if you can, once you actually get into a routine of doing that, of writing out some posts. Emily, time will, you know what I find with time is we like to say that it's a time management problem. I have limited time, you know, sometimes we can make our circumstance be our excuse of why not to show up today or why not to build this business with the energy that you need to. Why not to plan ahead and stuff. It's just, I'm so busy, right? I work, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've got so much stuff on my plate. Life's thrown this or that at me. I mean, that's always going to happen. You're always going to have that. And until you learn to conquer that yourself, like you're never going to even be able to lead anybody else when they come in and they have life being thrown at them, or they're a mom, or, you know, they have a job, or they are a wife and they're trying to balance all the things too. It's like the acknowledgement of I'm a leader. I'm going to go first. I'm going to figure this out. But what I've learned about time management is it's not always a time management problem. It's usually it's a us problem. It's usually you have a hard time managing yourself in relation to time. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you've ever heard of Parkinson's law, but Parkinson's law says that like the task will expand to fill the amount of time basically allotted for it. And the example of that is like the other day or a couple weeks ago, I woke up to a sink full of dishes. I hate doing that. I like to do like kitchen resets at night, so I'm waking up to like fresh energy. But I woke up to dishes and it was my off day, and I stared at those dishes like each time I came into the kitchen. I was like, oh, there they are again. Oh, gotta do dishes. I didn't actually get to doing those dishes till after 7 p.m. And I finally set a timer on my oven. And I said, you know what, Amber, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. I set a timer for 15 minutes. I said, I'm just going to get this done. Guess what? It took me 8 minutes. It didn't take me the 15 minutes that I thought it was going to take me. I was able to accomplish getting the dishes and the entire kitchen just kind of tidied up for the night. It only took me 8 minutes. But realistically, you guys, that took me all day. It didn't take me 8 minutes. It took me the entire day because it took space in my mind all day. Does that make sense? And so sometimes we can fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. But really it's like, have we actually been like concrete with our time to say, okay, I have 10 minutes here. I'm going to, instead of scrolling, I'm going to hop on social media and I'm going to give intention to it. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go and add to my network for 10 minutes, right? If I have 10 minutes, or maybe you have 5 minutes and you're like, I'm going to go and engage with people on Instagram. Maybe you're going to watch stories and engage. You get in, you do your task, and you get out. Okay. It's like a military mission, you guys. You have to think of it that way. Otherwise, you're going to get caught in the scroll and you'll realize at the end of the day that you were on social media. Maybe you look at your screen time and what do you have to show for it, right? Do you have conversations with people? Have you made a friend in the social media space? Or was it just a day full of scrolling and then you kind of like beat yourself up about it and you're like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And then your brain offers you all these negative thoughts and you're back to the whole, I just don't have time. I just can't figure out time. I can't seem to manage time. Give yourself a little grace and learn to like get curious with it a little bit. Like get curious. I wonder why like it took me all day to do the dishes, right? Or I wonder why it took me all day to do a post. Was it because I was afraid? Was it because I was afraid to hit the live button? Was it because I didn't want to sit down and like force my brain to think about what I wanted to say? So what I do sometimes is I'll work a couple of days ahead, meaning I've already thought about what I want to post today. I've halfway, probably 3/4 of the way written it out. And I have some pictures that I'm going to put with it. And then I have an idea of what I'm going to post tomorrow. And I have an idea about what I'm going to post Wednesday. But like just having an idea of what your plan is for your business for the week will make it go so much smoother. There's our timer. I didn't talk y'all's ear off. Sorry about that. I'm going to head over to Instagram. If you're not building on Instagram, you're welcome to stay over on Facebook. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my profile. I'm going to hit following. Hit the up and down arrows. And then if you hit latest, date followed latest, these are going to be the people that you added to your network towards the end of last week. If we were consistent in adding to your network. What I do is I go through, you can already see who has an active story and who doesn't. I go to the stories and I will just kind of I love stories. That's where I connect with people the most. On stories, if you keep two mindsets, one, can I be friends with this person? Right? Is there something, I'm not going to turn mine up and listen to it, but can I be friends with this person? And two, like, what can I learn from this person? Right? Is there anything that I can learn? So sometimes like I'll like take away some things, like maybe it's the filter that they use, or maybe it's the way that they've presented something, or like sometimes instead of just using your whole face on the screen whenever you're talking on stories, I've seen people make it smaller and put it up in the corner. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because it just like it brings your mind to a different place. But maybe it's the way that they've showcased their products that I want to take away from it. Maybe it's something uplifting, maybe it's mindset. I like to, on days that I work, I like to try to knock out engagement or at least a round of engagement in the morning. Because for me, the only time I really get to like look at my phone at work is if I'm in the bathroom or if like I'm around the corner filling up my water bottle or something and I take like literally 30 seconds in there, or depending on how long I can hide in there, right? So it's easier for me in like little 2 to 3 minute spurts to add to my network than it is to engage and like put my full attention on engaging with somebody's account. So I will try to do my engagement before I leave the house. Then I go to work, and then any little bits and pieces of time that I can kind of maybe add to my network or put something up on my stories, maybe something that I'm thinking about. Otherwise it's my lunch break. And sometimes what I will do to protect my peace is not sit in the break room. Sometimes I will just walk outside. And then you can share your face on your stories. You can get a little bit more intimate with your audience during that time instead of just feeling like you're stuck in the break room. It's crazy how we think that something's going to take so much time to do, and then we actually sit down and do the task and you're like, oh, it didn't actually take that long. If you're not utilizing timers in your business, please start using timers. Timers is going to give you an awareness for how much time you're spending doing a certain task. And like I just said, like once you set a 7-minute timer and you actually go through the task, you're going to realize how much you can actually fit in 7 minutes. And then you look back at your business at the end of the day and you're like, okay, I plugged in for 7 minutes here, 7 minutes here. And maybe you only had an hour. Maybe you only had an hour that day that you could actually plug in, but you want to make it the most intentional hour that you can, right? Because here's the thing, if you don't learn to be the most intentional with the time that you have, how are you ever going to be able to present this business to somebody else? Because that's one of their biggest complaints, is that they don't have time either, right? But if you can confidently stand on a strong leg and say, you know what, like I can show you how to do this in as little as an hour, right? Because we're going to be very intentional with our hour. Like maybe it's going to be 15 minutes of engagement here, 15 minutes of engagement here, 10 and 10 for adding to your network. And you're going to spend some time on your stories and putting up a piece of content for the day, right? What we do is so simple, you guys. What makes it hard is what's in between our ears. All right, that's our timer there. So we've got 9 minutes left. What I'm going to do, I'm going to spend 5. Okay, so we're going to, whoop, set another timer for 5. I'm going to go to my Instagram stories. If you're still on Facebook, that's fine. But if you go to your Instagram stories, you can click on, whoop, what, you got fat fingers today. Go to click the people's faces where you can see who's viewing your story. And then you can go through there and engage with them there, just like we did on Facebook. encourage you to try to get into a habit, if you're not already in the habit, of showing your face on your stories. Of being like the person behind the brand, right? Instead of just putting up pictures of our products or creating slides about the business and shutting our phone off for the day. Like, what's going on throughout your day, you know? Some of the most story replies that I get are not from like business stuff. It's from like, I don't know, maybe food that I find at Aldi, and they're like, where'd you get that? And I'm like, I tagged Aldi in the picture, but like it opens up a conversation. Get that back in your room, please. You got 7 minutes, girly. Oh my goodness, the remote control cars are out already. Take it back to your room, please. Okay, well, guess what? In 7 minutes, you can bring it out here. And then it's game time for getting ready for school. Why don't you go ahead and get dressed? Planning ahead. Planning ahead will take you so far. I think it all comes down to looking at this with, how do I want to say it? A long-term vision. And asking yourself, is the way I'm operating right now sustainable for a long-term business? Hi. You have the messiest hair. Yes. They can hear you. So you need to just chill out. We're almost done. Don't be crazy, please. Okay, I see a lot of cute people watching my stories. Maybe posting about your self-development, maybe that you're listening to or reading, that will attract like-minded people. And then just kind of think to yourself, like, am I embodying the 5 F's? Like, am I truly embodying the 5 F's? Am I prioritizing balance over burnout in my business? Am I spending time with my family? Am I creating a day a week where I'm off my phone? You know, am I moving my body? You know, let him smack you. All right, that's our timer. So we've got 4 minutes left. Do you guys have an idea of what you're gonna be posting for the day? You crazy. Why don't you get your clothes on? Don't let him get you. You need to cut his nails. If you don't have an idea of what you're posting for the day, one of the things I used last week was it was like the caption, I want you to know, right? So you could take that, like, I want you to know, maybe start talking about something that maybe you've been through in the past, or I want you to know it's going to get better. And you start talking about maybe something that you've been through. I want you to know you don't always have to be as tired as you are today. Maybe you talk about your passion for the products and what you like. You can use that caption for so many different things. Or one of the things I'm talking about today is the 5 Fs. I'm talking about how when I decided to make the switch, I came from a different company, but I was kind of like driving myself into the ground. I realized until I made the switch here and I realized, hey, people are actually taking breaks from their phones and they're just like, they're having a day off of social media once a week. I was like, wait a minute. And it's actually been really hard for me to do that, to transition to that, because for 4.5 years, I operated in this industry without taking a day off. And I think the mindset behind it was really poor because I felt like I didn't deserve a day off. I felt like everybody else was putting in so much more work than I was because I worked full time and I could only allot so much time to my business. So of course everybody else was plugging in more time, so they were ahead, right? And so I just like had this mentality that I wasn't worth it, that I didn't deserve to take any time off. And it's definitely taken some toll on my family, and to learn this time around to do it in a way that's sustainable, like that is what attracts me here more than even like the set pay. It's the values and the standards that we have as a company, and that is just kind of something that I'm talking about a little bit today. So maybe take a few minutes and type out something that you want to talk about today. We only have 1 more minute left here, but sometimes you guys also, if you have like something on your heart, there's been plenty of times where I have sat in my car after work because I knew that that was one of my non-negotiables for the day, was putting up a piece of content, and I hadn't gotten it done yet, but I have been known to sit in my car for a good 45 minutes trying to type out a post, when in reality, if I would have just like, I knew what I wanted to say, if I would have just hit the live button, it would have taken me maybe 7-8 minutes, right? And so sometimes you have to acknowledge how you're holding yourself back. I think sometimes when you work and you're building a business at the same time, you can be a little harsh on yourself. So that's all I'm saying, is give yourself some grace. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you this morning. And the next time I will be on will be Thursday morning. So I will see y'all then. But awesome start to your day. Have a good one.